cult survivor, and I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to be delivering a presentation. And YouTube, listen, how I'm even doing this, I'm on my phone, I'm waiting for my tripod to come, and it is literally, it's ghetto tube, it's ghetto gram, and it's ghetto talk. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube. So today, what I'm going to be talking about is reclaiming freedom and a healing journey from religious and church cult abuse. I'm not going to do up that bit. Now, you may not be able to see the full thing, but the way I've propped everyone up, I'm hoping you can see it, guys. So I'm trying my best. I'm going to start off with recognizing cult characteristics. And this video, it will be really good for you if you're just leaving a cult or you're trying to recognize if you're in a church or a cult. I'm trying to just have like a piece of content out there from beginning to end where I can direct survivors as an information, advice and guidance session. So here I go. So recognizing cult characteristics, and this is by Yanya Lalage, cult expert. So the first one is the group displays an excessively zealous and unquestioning commitment to its leader. And this is whether he's alive or unalived. And this is regards to his belief. Oh, sorry, YouTube. I'm going to still keep this there. I'm going to still keep this because, as I said, we're doing up ghetto tube. So this is in regards to his belief system. This is in regards to his ideology and practices, and they are seen as the truth and law. I want to also say here that with the cult leaders, I'm looking at a cult right now, and he's been unalived for a good couple of years. And when you go on the website, you would never think that this man is unalived. The way that the content is, the way they've written everything, you'd think that this man is living and breathing, and very much still the cult leader that is, you know, still running things. Hey, Queen Nance. All right. So there's that, you'll notice there's that culture of worship. There's that culture of idolization. It's not like, you know, I love my pastor, and it goes beyond I love my pastor. It turns into they control every element of your life. And this leads me on to the next one. Questioning, doubt, and dissent are discouraged or even punished. And this is really important because there's no critical thinking. There's no critical thinking in these spaces. And what that leads to is don't ask any questions because we've got all the answers. And there will be a culture of that, a culture of, you know, the cult leader has this almighty special knowledge. They act as a mediator between God and man. And so, you know, that's where it comes into like the financial, mystical manipulation, where they start to say, you need to sow a seed of faith, you know, and there needs to be a connector to the connector. You need to, like a plug to the electricity. They start to bring in outside false doctrine. And this is a lot, and this is why I say a lot of the time they're just indoctrinating you unconsciously, and this is for their own premeditated hidden motives and agenda. And so usually there'll be some sort of transcendent belief system that will involve saving souls, winning the lost at any cost, but it will be very radical. It will be, you know, excessive. It will involve a lot of buildings. There'll be rhetoric like territory, taking over kingdoms, taking over dominion. The talk will be very army-like in nature, and there will be a very forceful pressure in nature in how they coerce the people to carry out tasks. Okay. And then when we look at coercive control, when that's intertwined with the transcendent belief system, people think that they're fulfilling a scripture and a law, and then they'll bring in very subtle cult jargon like for the house, to become a spiritual daughter, to become, I don't know, a strong Christian, to become whatever it is, whatever jargon they've got. Hey, Stargazer, how are you, my love? So there'll be a lot of mind-altered practices. And I'm not saying prayer's bad. I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like most religions pray. I don't have a problem with that. No one does. All right. Where we have an issue is when this goes into mind-altered practices and people are getting to these settings at 5 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. They've left their house untidy. They've not cooked any food for the kids. Now they're expecting their 12-year-old child to be preparing breakfast, washing the kids and bringing there on Sunday. And then as a result, children get neglected. And that is because you need to give inordinate amounts of time to the cult. You need to be there. You need to be on time. It will be very regimented, and people will be expected. There'll be a pressure. It will be very disciplined. That's not what a CHURCH is. That's a cult. That's a fraternity. That's a high control group. That's an institution. All right. So when there's a lot of, you know, such as meditation, chanting, speak, because the chanting that they do in like Hindu, Krishna cults and whatever, it's exactly the same practice. Mind altered practice. Meditation is exactly the same practice. Mind altered practice. Do you see what I'm saying? Debilitating work routines are used in excess and serve to suppress doubts about the greatest leader. So right now, you know, Karis is doing a 30-day fast or whatever. You know, first love is just so excessive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Thank you, Bliss. I know, it's just facts, baby. It's just facts. That's why I've got up the presentation. You get me? Because it's not, I'm not here for fame. I'm not an influencer, baby. I'm here to get a message out, awareness. I'm an educator. I'm a social justice activist, and I'm an informal educator. I am not here for clout. I am not here to make a name for myself. I'm not here for the money. I'm not here for none of that. Don't get me wrong though, some money would be nice. Your girl is not out here lying, Jaya. Because then I just would be a liar. But let's stay focused. Welcome, YouTube. I can't see any of your comments. You're literally getting propped up by one of my very large candles. Thank God I have candles, or I don't even need a I don't even have a tripod at the moment, bruv. But your girl makes it happen each and every time. Inside, my queen Lucia has arrived. All right, so the leadership dictates sometimes and I want to quickly say with the mind altered practices, yeah, that in the psyche, what happens psychologically is you'll notice when they go into crisis, immediately a shabaya sata, like they believe psychologically that when they're doing that, they're speaking in like a language only the angels and God can understand, because remember, it's the us versus them is very strong. So they believe that the devil's like out there and whatever, and this is the only language. So it's very spiritual, psychotic in nature. So when you're walking down the road and you see someone walking in tongues, it's giving spiritual psychosis. Do you understand what I'm saying? They'll have the headphones in, you can hear, you know, the blaring of the, you know, it's really guys, like up the live, please. It's really important that we like up the live. It's absolutely essential, especially on this account, guys. I'm just trying a thing. All right. So the next one is leadership dictates sometimes in great details how members should think, act, and feel. E.g., members must get permission to date, change jobs, or marry, or leaders prescribe what to wear, where to live, whether to have children, how to discipline children, and so forth. Thanks, Queen Nancy. So this is really important, guys, because like in my cult, the maximum they can have in there is 3. So if you look at all the leaders, if you went to First Love on a Sunday and you asked all them leaders how many kids do they have, no one would have over 3 kids. If you went to MSCI, which is, it's another denomination, but it's more of a family style cult, so there's different ages, you asked all of the leaders how many kids do they have, and those are people my age and above. Well, there's not many millennials left, yeah, but the scrapings of what they do have left, they would still have none, because a lot of women struggle to conceive because of the pressure that they put on our bodies when we are doing up what we're doing up in there. But anyway, I don't want to digress too much, guys. Let's keep it cult psycho ed focused. All right, so especially the who to marry, there's a lot of arranged marriages in these settings, and it's usually to serve the purpose of the cult. So it won't be about matching 2 people who are in love, who have things in common. It won't be about that. It will be this shepherd is assistant for the pastor, this woman is the praise and worship leader, she's 29, he's 31. You know, it can work because you both love God, you see. And when you love God in a marriage, it is about God, husband and wife. It's not about lust. It's not about feelings. It's not about a Coca-Cola bottle. It's not about having the most beautiful woman that you have ever seen. It's not about going for your type. It is about going for somebody that loves God, because somebody that loves God will love you. Babe. All right, babe. All right, babe. Go and speak to a lot of the ex-pastors' wives. Do you understand what I'm saying? Who are running for their lives, yeah. Let's keep it focused. The leadership dictates, and sometimes in great detail, how members should act and feel. Should think, act, and feel. E.g., members must get permission to... Oh, did I just say this? All right, do you know why I think I was supposed to go over this? Because the leadership dictates, sometimes in great details, how members should think, act, and feel. I think that's a really big one that I have to highlight, because we're not allowed to feel emotions. So what happens is our emotions get suppressed, and all of that like trauma, like feelings of anger when you can't express anger, feelings of crying when you can't express crying. And then they'll be telling you not to cry and to be like a leader and to take it because the Lord chasteneth those whom he loves. Like they come in like that. So it's like, you can be there, but you just got to hold back the tears and just take it, because that's what you do, like in the ministry. Hey, HJ, that's what you do. And all of that trauma, all of that anger, all of the oppression, the suppression, the silencing of the voice, that it gets stored and trapped in the body, and it starts to manifest in sickness, mental health, etc. So the group is elitist, claiming a special exalted status for itself, its leaders and its members. The leader is considered the Messiah, a special being, an avatar, or the group and or leader is on a special mission to save humanity. Now, what you'll find, especially with like high control groups where it's ended in the cult leader coercing them to delete themselves, this part about the leader being on a special mission to save humanity is something that has played a huge part in that happening. So this is why this is on here. And what I want to highlight is the reason why this is so difficult to detect when it comes to CC. So that's CHURCH cults, is because just when you look at the canon, that's the whole kind of ethos that's in there, is like to save humanity through Christ, etc. Now, where we belief systems, this is like the manipulation and the mystical manipulation of the twisting and manipulation of scriptures to create false doctrines. And these false doctrines have become mainstream within the Pentecostal NGRM, which is a new religious movement. And this is why we have so much ABUSE going on in there. So the transcendent belief system will usually have a rhetoric like save the lost at any cost. We've got to go out there, save people, do greater works. There's that kind of thing to it. So because they feel like they're on a special mission, there's usually this elitism, this air of elitism, which is where the judgmental vibe comes into it. The air of I'm better than everyone else, like looking down on everyone else, because it's very like black and white thinking. It's very dogmatic. It's very us versus them. So they have to create that because number one, they're actually the minority on the grander scheme of things. But because they create their own self-sealing bubbles and then self-sealing systems within the bubble, when you're in it, you're wrapped up. So you're thinking we're the most powerful, and that's why you're seeing the conflict of the us versus them on a global scale in many different spheres, because it's like we're going into a new world, a new way of thinking. It's becoming more secularized, and that's always been a threat and seen as EVIL and this, that, and the third. And so things like humanitarianism, empathy, just being a kind human being, they paint that as DEMONIC. It's crazy. But standing on the street and telling people that they're going to HELL and just being so, you think that's saving souls? Come on, and that's why the world's become more secularized, because people who are innately kind and want to live in peace and just want to vibe, it's just positive vibes, they're moving less and less away from religion. And the newer generation, there's a higher level of consciousness, there's access to an array of information. It's not even like last year or 10 years ago. We have AI, we have ChatGPT. Like my 11-year-old's telling me, oh mummy, just use AI, and I'm like, raw. Like my little 11-year-old's telling me we can just use AI to do up the game, We wanted to do a treasure hunt. Go in like thrifting in different charity shops and find random objects. Like as a fun game, Because I have to try and get my kids off the internet, because these kids, they love being on the net, man. So I was like, how are we going to get the objects and all not know though at the same time and whatever? And she brought up AI and I was like, oh my God, like these kids are so smart. Like even when my daughter like FaceTimes me, She'll put like little symbols and change the background. It is an advanced generation. Thanks, Queen. It's an advanced generation, y'all. It's not the same. And so these types of ways of thinking and development and things like that, it's going to be a threat. It will be a threat to high control groups. Hey, Miss CHN. Oh yeah, girl, it's I'm not gonna lie, it is. It's very scary. But what I will tell you is that there's equilibrium. Things are starting to balance out now, and there are more people who are just more like agnostic, or they've either got like a religion, but they're more looking at humanity over religion. And I think that things have had to happen, like what we see happening in the Middle East and stuff, for people, you know, because really dramatic times, guys, and things that haven't happened that you just are just innately wrong. It opens your eyes, you know, to what life is really about. And then it just turns into, are you a human being that cares for humanity? Do you know what I'm saying? The group has a polarized us versus them mentality, which may cause conflict with wider society. And TikTok, I'm going to do some of this and then come off because I'm on my main account, but I will be doing more sessions like this on my main account to keep it cool. Yeah, so this is exactly what I've just described, is this point. The polarized us versus them mentality, and we see it's causing conflict with wider society, like right now, currently, when you look at the stuff that's going on in the US, etc. Then we have the leader is not accountable to any authorities, unlike, for example, teachers, military commanders, or ministers, priests, monks, and here we go, yeah, mainstream denominations, because, you know, we have to be sensitive. Then we've got, oh yeah, this is the one that I always forget. The or implies that it supposedly exalted ends justify whatever means it deems necessary. So it's their vision, you know, of saving the world and doing greater works than Christ. That is the exalted end, and it's doing whatever means it deems necessary to get there, because that is the ultimate goal. That is the law. That is what, you know, who has spoken. Do you know what I'm saying? We are preaching the word. That's all the stuff that comes into it. So do you see, it turns into, that's exactly it. Do you know what I mean? It just describes it perfectly. This may result in members participating in behaviors or activities that they would have considered reprehensible or unethical before joining the group, e.g. lying to family and friends, collecting money for bogus charities. I want to also put in like taking out like loans for the group, or putting, you know, their name down on something on the company's house records, for example. We saw that happen to SPAC, where they used a member's details. And then what happened was, when the charity commission shut it all down, those people that were down as, you know, like named persons on the paperwork, and it wasn't Pastor Toby, you know, them ones, they can't work. They can't work in charity sectors for like 10 years. So it affects people's, you know, employment ability. And it just destroys lives, really. And you find that there's a lack of transparency as well. I want to throw this one in. And when you go on and you look at the company's house records, you can clearly see, do you get what I'm saying? Like, okay, something's up here, something's not right. Because why is the main pastor that comes to preach, the one that everybody's worshipping, the one that everybody's referencing, his name's not on any of the paperwork? Guys, come on, man. This is when common sense into it. Do you understand? The leadership induces feelings of shame and or guilt in order to influence and control members. Often this is done through peer pressure and subtle forms of persuasion. So this is done. This is huge, especially, but I want to say guilt is wrapped in the guise of conviction. They change the meaning of things in there. So they don't, it's you will feel guilty, but they'll tell you that that's conviction. Like, if those of you that feel convicted to give the money, so someone could have just got paid, but they wanted to paint their room for like months, like, and they've started this new job. They're already 17, 18, they want to do up their room, this, that, and the fact. They've started doing up their room. They've got maybe like, no, let's use the flooring. The flooring's a better example. And let's say they've started doing the flooring, and they said their next pay, they're going to get the rest of the money so they can put floorboards down, yeah, and complete the job. Now, when they go to the church cult, they're asking for exactly the same amount of money that it will cost them to do the flooring. So they're thinking, oh my gosh, is God asking me to sacrifice it? I need to sacrifice, this offering. And then they'll be feeling what they describe as a conviction of the Lord. But it's not that. It's just because the leadership induces feelings of shame and or guilt, which is in the guise of conviction. It's done through indoctrination very subtly. It's also intertwined and embedded in the fabrics of the actual cult itself. So everybody has that thinking. So the rhetoric will be, oh my gosh, one time I gave my whole rent. Hey, welcome, Queen. I gave my whole rent, I should be like, oh yeah. One time I remember I had to do my flooring and I gave it. And you know what? The Lord was so good. Like 6 months later, I got a promotion. And then because of their cognition, you don't give none of yourself the praise. You don't take none of that, like whatever achievement for yourself. It's either God or it's the cult. And that's on period point blank. So now it's not even like because you're a hard worker. Your mum raised you to be a hard worker. Your mum raised you to be respectful. Your mum raised you to be kind. So when you go to the workplace and you're displaying them values, because let me tell you, it's 90% how much you fit in with a team, bro, and it's 10% the work you're doing, unless it's a toxic environment. That's on period point blank. That's on facts, on facts, on facts. So they're going there, and because of the merit of how hard they work, they're getting a promotion. But because they sacrifice the free bills for the preacher the other day, now they're seeing it as God's come, like done it through the pastor, like got the promotion. So guys, they're not thinking in a usual way, like with logic. They're thinking in a very hyper religious, spiritual, psychotic way. Do you get what I'm saying? Where when the smallest things happen, guys, I've seen the wildest things. I saw RPF letting an auntie come and give a testimony about getting trapped in a lift and God saving her and her kids. Come on, you lot. Come on, you lot. So do you see how any normal person, they would have gone on their day, pressed emergency, come out, carried on going shopping, and called up their friend and said, oh my God, do you know what the maddest thing happened today? I got stuck in a lift. That's all it would have been. I'm live, 1 minute. Is it important? All right, wait, please. And it would be like, oh, the funniest thing happened. But because it's hyper religious and it's in a setting where they're using a lot of indoctrination and a lot of different like mystical manipulation, and they're just thinking they're in a fight or flight mode. Do you know what I mean? Like everything's so like chaotic. It's hyper religious. Even when they approach you and they speak to you on the street, it's disorganized. It's disorientated speech. It's coming out very fast and it's you can just see it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it because your eyes are open to the truth of the situation, guys. It doesn't benefit me sitting down and doing this. I'll tell you that for free. Subservience to the leader or group requires members to cut ties with family and friends and radically alter the personal goals and activities they had before joining the group. I want to quickly add here that what kind of frames and shapes identity is your hobbies, your interests, what you like doing, your passions, etc. So when that part of self is unalived and then they come in and say like you're in this setting every single day and we socialize together, do you know what I mean? It's like you're then becoming like everybody else because you're in an authoritarian environment. There's no individuality, there's no autonomy. Everybody is the same. Another reason why they want you to cut ties with the outside world, again, it's because of the us versus them. But when we look at Stephen Hassan's bite model, and I think I'll go into it, it might be in the presentation, so I won't go too much into it. But it talks about that information control. That's the main thing. And I would actually argue and say behavior, because they say this scripture, evil communication corrupts good character. So they emphasize on that. That's like the main scripture that they'll use to justify you cutting off your childhood friend that you've known for 25 years, that was there for you from depression when you nearly deleted yourself because of the guy, has always there for you, just like your actual G. But because she's not coming to the call and she's saying something's weird, bro, all of a sudden your childhood friend that you've known for 25 years is from the DEVIL, and this pastor and this group that you've known for 5 minutes is the ultimate truth. Yeah. And usually when these people present in these groups, you'll be going through a very like traumatic experience. You'll be at a crossroad in life. It will be something like that. Like you never hear someone coming in and being like, oh my God, I just won the lottery and everything was perfect in my life. And I started, finding God. It's usually at that. And that's why I feel like a lot of it is like religious psychosis. So I feel like when we come out of these environments, we really do have to like, unpack the layers of the onion to really understand what made us susceptible to these groups in the beginning. Childhood trauma, did you not feel like you had a relationship with your mom or your dad? Like really peel it back, because it won't just be within the church cult environment. You'll also find that this crosses over and seeps into many areas of your life. It could be the partners that you choose. You're going round and round in cycles, and it's just the cycle of A, B, U, S, E. Do you know what I mean? It might be that you keep dating narcissists, or, you're codependent on a man because of whatever. And it's about stripping it back, because not only are you vulnerable to these environments, you're vulnerable to narcissists, you're vulnerable to, people who are like unhealed. You might, like, I always used to think, why do I attract all these people with all this trauma? And then it's like we're both like barely trying to survive. I've learned a lot. It's better to be alone than to have people around you that will drain and suck you of all your energy and life source. And rather use that time to know yourself and be able to, walk in your power and your authentic truth. And that is why these environments want you in there 24 hours a day. Thank you, Queen. They emphasize on, do not forsake the fellowship of the saints, because that traps you with an ideology of I can't say no. That do not forsake the fellowship of the saints. That is just there so that you cannot say no. And that is the leadership inducing feelings of shame and or guilt to influence and control members, because then they control your leisure time, where you go, what you do, whatever, because it's like fellowship of the saints. And what is their fellowship? Monday to Sunday, bruv. Tuesday to Sunday is their fellowship. So when you miss, do you see how it starts to get RADICAL through subtle cult tactics and reverse psychology and emotional manipulation? Because they're asking you for inordinate amounts of your time. They're asking you for 6 days out of the 7 days of it. Okay, all right, let me not go that drastic. They're asking you for 5 days of your 7 days a week. That's inordinate times, but because that's the fellowship of the saints, do you get what I'm saying? I can't say no to that. And then it goes into, that's the word of God, that's the commandment of God, but that's the false doctrine. That's them preaching from that lens. And guys, that's what you need to remember, yeah? That all it is someone's ideology. When they are preaching something, teaching something, it is a man's ideology. It's based off his ideological perspective of the scriptures. That's all it is. Like, I could do that if I want. Like, bro, like, I could have gone into Christianity and made a lot of money, bruv. There's a lot of these vulnerable, easily influenced and impressionable gal them, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? I could have gone into, like if B. Simone could do it, anyone can do it, innit? All right. The group is preoccupied with bringing in new members. All right. 1 second, one second, Instagram. I need to give this charger to my daughter. Oh, I've messed up the whole positioning. 1 second, 1 sec. Ooh. That's all right, innit, Insta? I'm trying to get it a bit better for you lots, that you can kind of read it. All right, there you go. Woo! Now I got to move this stuff without dropping everything. All right, come and get it. No, actually, wait. I don't think you lot can see her, but just in case. Here. All right. This one's really important, guys. The cult is preoccupied with the cult is preoccupied with bringing in new members, and the cult is preoccupied with making money. And the reason why I always say these two together is because bums on seats equals coins. And once I came to that realization that it was all about the money, that's when I started to clock something's wrong. Because the reason I gave up everything, I was on the X Factor in 07, got to the final 5, gave up my ability, my opportunity to be a pop star, because I was giving up the fame and the fortune and whatever. Yeah. So when I clocked that this is all about money and ego and whatever, that's when I said, no, I can't do this. And when I started to deconstruct it, I saw that it was just all about ego and money. So when they say bringing in new numbers, that will be constant drive for recruitment. It will be in the guise of outreach. It will be in the guise of events. It will be in the guise of prayer meetings. It will be in the guise of fasting. Everything that they do in these church cults is about bringing in new members. That's what they connect it to. But do you understand that it's the overarching transcendent belief system that talks about winning the lost at any cost, doing greater works than Christ? That's how they sell it to people, because they're very good salesmen. They're they're master manipulators. Like cult leaders are master manipulators. Like they don't need. And even you'll notice, like ones like NGR Remia, the leader of that one, he's not educated, but he's a master manipulator. So I think because he's got undiagnosed LDD, I think he masks with the grandiose ideologies of self, the charisma, the whatever. And I think that's why he's just selling bottles of water and selling oil. Thanks for the follow, my love. Do you get what I'm saying? And giving people personal prophecies in exchange for money. They're like more of the hood ones, the back door. Do you understand? So similarly, I could name SPAC, aka what are they called? The Nation. Then we've got members are expected to devote inordinate amounts of time to the group and group related activities. And this is why I think it's good for me to do this from my main account, because I want to make my main account a bit more educational. Because you know that when I came on TikTok, I came all blazing, and I have to calm down on this account now. It'll take me longer to build, but I think it's the way forward, because I'll get people that follow me that are really, you know, they're educated, they're woke. Do you know what I'm saying? They support the thing. That's what I'm interested in, quality over quantity, because you see the one thing that technology will deceive you into thinking, because you have to the whole world, I got hundreds of thousands of followers. It's not about that. It's about building authentic communities and building a community where we can exchange energy and we can help one another. That's what it's really about. Being on the same wave, being on the same frequency. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm on. I'm on spiritual power, y'all. Because you know why? They've deceived us into thinking it's all about money. It's all about peace. It's not all about peace. It's about spiritual power. It's about us being this generation to shift and change and transform and take us into a better world, man. Our kids can't be growing up in this inequity. Our kids can't be growing up with these social systems and constructs, man. This is where we come in. We feed our mind with knowledge. We can feed our kids. We can feed our community. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm on. If you ask me what's the goal, that's what I'm on. We taking back our spiritual power on period point blank, Queen Lucia. That's what we doing every day. And that's why people are leaving. That's why people are bettering themselves. Have you seen how the survivors look? Oh my gosh, it's just giving celeb. It's just giving main character. I'm seeing this survivor. This survivor didn't come on the lives all the time, but just been deconstructing and taking it in, because survivors need to live their life, y'all. It could be a couple of things that they hear from the live, and they go and they level up and they're living their life. Like everybody has to go through their own journey and process. And that's the beauty of what we represent and what we're about. But you best believe you come for me, you're going to see everybody coming out of the woodworks. You start coming and talking religious, right? You're going to see the survivors coming out of the woodworks, because people are living their life. They're doing very well. But when they see something where they feel like, yeah, I need to back this, because we're not silent anymore, because silence is compliance. And that's the beauty of what the collective has done. And that's on period point blank. Members are encouraged to live and or socialize only with the group members. I'm going to use Karis for this, because survivors have come forward and said that basically, like how the uni campuses work, and First Love do exactly the same thing. They'll rent out like a house, and it will be all people who are high-ranking members into the things, in the cult. Do you get it? And then they will live there for their whole 3 years, and then the next lot, they rise up to all live in the house together, and it becomes like the Karis house, Karis on campus house. And they do all their meetings outside, store equipment, do you understand? So do you see how they do? I'm not going to say, because this is a very sensitive account, but if they could, they would have a compound, ideally, where everybody would stay, and the members would want it, because that's the culture that they create. Because again, that's information control. That's the ideal world. That's why Jim Jones took, like, you know, did up the compound thing. And if you're a survivor and you don't know who Jim Jones is, go and Google it. YouTube, I can't see any of your comments. You're propped up against the candle, I can't lie. So before I go, I'll switch the camera around and I'll go back through all of your comments. If someone's on here like Rose or Dennis and I can't see you, hello y'all. You're supporting the thing. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. I'm not going to say your name because I'm live on YouTube and TikTok, but if you want me to shout you out, I will. Yes, Queen. She's saying I support the thing. I love y'all. You lot are also special. The collective, we're special. We're the light. We were the ones in there. Because guys, you know what? It's about energy exchange. Like when I went to the Ark, yeah, out of the whole experience, I said the only reason I would go back to this church again is because there was a girl outside with a young child and she was so genuine and so kind. And I don't even think that girl's got a big role in the cult. It's about energy. It can be one person you meet and you think, oh my God, she's lovely. She's got a little girl similar age to me. She starts calling you. It's based off my girl's energy, you know. That's how it grows. They got to have the genuine people. They siphon the energy because the man them in there. Whew, if it was based off them alone, because look, if you tell yourself the truth, when you first stepped in on these cults, yeah, when you saw that mog standing there and talking the things, we were thinking, raw, something's a bit off, man. But you know, you got the two gal them that brought you. They're so lovely. You lot are all the same age. Now you're doing things together. It's more built off like social influence, social conformity. It's all of these psychological things. And to be honest, I seen it, innit? Because I was in there for 18 years. And I come out and I deconstruct, I deprogram, I say, raw, I'm a youth and community worker. Let me go back into my community online and be telling them what I found in it. This is awareness. I'm not telling everybody to listen and say, go on with it. But what I'm saying is it's a free country in it. Like we're all putting information out there and whatnot. You're putting out your thing. I'm going to put out the thing. And let's see what go on in it. Let's see what people are saying outside in these streets. That's what I'm on. Do you get what I'm saying? They've got me out here talking like a whole road man and GM just to survive. Just for my accounts to survive on TikTok. Are you having a bubble? Like when I talk like this, everything's good. So there's the inordinate amounts of time, guys. King Rob's in the car. And you got to be there all the time. Like that's how you elevate. That's how you climb up the ladder, which is inside the pyramid scheme. Everybody at the top, it's like, it's because what they do up is they use the antithesis because it's reverse psychology. So they say to you that the anointing flows from the beard. So they can't say, I want your money. So they transmute it. They turn it into other meanings. So like, for example, when they want you to give the offering, it's like the anointing flows from the top. So we must bless the man of God for the anointing to rain down and bless us. Hey, bro, it's just like, what? So the oil, it's like you'll give a £1,000 offering to go and get blessed by a little bottle of oil because that's the anointing of God and that's how they used to do it in the Old Testament. Come on, guys. Come on. It's 2025, man. We got to wake up. That's why I said if people are going in this day and age, go, but don't give your money. That's all I would say. Still believe in what you want to believe. Go there. Enjoy the little movie event they got going in. Enjoy the little beautiful music, but don't give your money. Don't give your money, bro. I'm telling you, these institutions have been making money off our communities for years. Ain't nothing changed since colonizers. It's entrapment of the mind, y'all. You lot, how is it feeling? Should I restart or is it all right? And then this one is really important. The most loyal members, the true believers. So they'll be called like the true believers, the anointed ones, the spiritual daughters and sons of the house. They might be called the disciples, you know, I don't know, the sheep, the shepherds. They use like, this is where the cult jargon comes in. All right, facts, bro. This is where the cult jargon comes into it. Do you get it? Oh, she's saying to restart. He's saying it's good. She's saying to restart though. What should I do? All right. Do you know what? I'm going to restart just to be on the safe side, guys. If you want to come back on, I'm back on.
So,
all right. Oh, God. Sorry, Instagram.
So far,
can you lot still see?
Red.
I'm really sorry. And I didn't have to restart, but do you know what? It's better to be safe than sorry. So I prefer to just get into the habit of doing it than getting too comfortable. And then it's like things just go bad because this is my main account. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to. Sorry, YouTube, I'm coming. Thanks for your patience, guys. Because if you saw what I was trying to do up, yeah, like right now, you lot would be like, yeah. All right, let me just focus it. Oh, it's a little bit. All right. Okay, Insta, can you see it? Oh, I've messed up the whole thing. I think I'm gonna have to just stay on, you know, for the time so that I can. Oh, actually, let me close the curtain, but this is gonna make me hot. But I think that's better. All right. Insta, can you see it? Oh, I feel like you're a bit out of focus now. There we go. All right. Well, YouTube hasn't moved. All right. I'm gonna keep going on. I think that they can see, but because when I move the curtain back, it gets a little bit, but it's too hot, man. Oh, where's my fan? All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so I was basically saying that the most loyal members, the true believers, the anointed ones, the shepherds, whatever, they feel like there can be no life outside the context of the group. That's the main thing there. They feel like there can be no life outside of the context of the group. So that's where the codependency comes into it. And Lucia, next time I'll make you a mod when I come off, babe, because you know it's a bit peak on here because I got it. Girl, do you know what the phone's propping up on? Chair. I'll tell you after, girl. Can you not see it? Is that view for TikTok all right? Because I feel like the sun's coming in, chair. Insta, can you see all right? It's good. All right. Kanai said it's good on there. All right. So they feel like there can be no life outside of the group. They believe there is no other way to be and often fear reprisals to themselves or others if they leave or even consider leaving the group. So guys, it's like that feeling of they're not going to be able to survive outside of the group. Why are they not going to be able to survive outside of the group? Why would people be feeling that way? Because they're completely codependent and they got a trauma bond. Oh, TikTok, man. I'm sorry, it's not as good of an angle, you lot, but I have to get in the I have to get into the practice of coming off. Do you understand? Because these people, yeah, and this is the main account. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. Do you get it? Instagram, I've moved you and messed you up, innit? Woo! YouTube, have pictures. Okay, that's perfect. All right, guys, we're back. So it's like a vibe, guys. The vibe that it is when you're in there, like you could just delete yourself because you can't survive outside of the group. Like everything's in the group, your support system. Remember, I told you as well, they make the cult synonymous with God himself. So people feel like, and the way you have to hear the way they talk about people when they leave. It's like the person's deleted. It's like they're no longer in the faith. And hey, perp, you could have like clearly said to them, like when you're leaving, do you know what? I think this is a cult. I'm going to try and like look around and try and see if I can find another setting that I could find as my home. I'm still going to be serving. Like, don't worry. Like eventually I just don't feel like, sorry guys, this is for me. You might even say to them, do you know what? God spoke to me or God's been speaking to me in a way. It's like, so now you want to move on. You're saying that you hear from God. The whole time you were here, you didn't hear this from God. And now that you've been built up in the ways of the Lord and we fed you with knowledge and understanding, now you feel like there is somewhere else for you to go. How ungrateful. This is disloyal. And then they start to like demonize the person because they have to build a rhetoric because it's very black and white thinking. So to them, it could never be that the cult is a cult. It could never be, I have concerns about the so-called prophet or cult leader. You're automatically wrong because he's right, you're wrong. He's big, you're little. He's tall, you're small. It's like, sorry, you're wrong. They can't comprehend it. They've been brainwashed to, believe, think, and see the antithesis. All right? And again, for those of you that are just joining or thinking, oh my gosh, what the hell is mega church cult survivor, informal educator, delivering a little PowerPoint, a little session on understanding how to take your life back and just working through and processing the trauma post-cult exit. All right. Okay, so understanding cognitive dissonance. So what is cognitive dissonance in a cult? Because guys, we throw around a lot of these words, and I think by now we kind of know them because survivors have really been deconstructing. Hey, Covelli, what's up? But, I just think it's to give us a little bit more, just like a think tank for us, really and truly. You know what I mean? Because it's like when they want to test our G, you get what I'm saying? It's like, Ross, it's here. And also, guys, this is going to be on YouTube, and it's also on, Instagram, is that view all right? Or do you want me to move it a little bit? All right. So what is cognitive dissonance in a cult? So this refers to discomfort a member experiences when their beliefs within the group contradict the external reality or their own prior beliefs, often leading them to rationalize or reinforce their commitment to the cult to alleviate this internal conflict. So an example of this would be, you know it's wrong to steal. Your mum told you it's wrong to steal as a child. To the cult, and your pastor is making you buy dresses for like £3 and selling them to the congregation for £20 a pop. Now you know that's wrong because that's deceptive. It's supposed to be a pastor. Why are you not telling them the truth? But they're justifying it like we're putting it back into the church coffers. We're getting stuff for the church. But it's like the rationale, it's wrong. You know it's wrong. You're transferring money. It's not going through taxes. This is a religious organization. They're registered with the Companies House. Everything needs to be done above board. But it's like, this is where the dissonance will come into it. Like that's all. Even stuff around phobic discourse, misogynist rhetoric. It's like you could have grown up with a mother that's like a proper feminist. You know what I mean? Like she's embedded values in you so that you don't get, hoodwinked by certain social constructs of society and whatever, and raised you that way. And then they come in here and they're like, wife, feminism is EVIR from the devil, this and that, and it's that rhetoric. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's that cognitive dissonance. And even right now, like the things that are happening in the Middle East, they know it's wrong, but because it says that if you bless that country, God will bless you, that's how they're seeing it. And it's not even talking about the country, it's talking about Jacob, you know them ones. But because of the false doctrine and how they're getting taught in there, like it's for the benefit of the cult leader. It's for money. All they care about is the money. So essentially, it's the psychological tension that arises when a cult member is faced with information that challenges their loyalty to the group, causing them to adjust their thinking to maintain consistency with the cult's ideology. So for example, what's going on with that country with the P, we can all see that that's wrong. And you're seeing that there's a clear division of people who are just human beings, just humanitarians who just care and love their fellow human, and the people who are using religion as a cloak to just be, you know what, Featherstone's in the car, Ella in the car. And this causes them to adjust their thinking to maintain consistency with the cult's ideology. So this is why they're looking very strange in 2025, because we will be sitting there with them saying, babe, like the canon is not, like it's been changed. Like, look, here's the facts. Like you pull up ChatGPT, pull up AI, look at who King James was. Look at why the version got changed like this. Oh my gosh, look at the letter of King Leopold, the King of Belgium, where they were able to take over the Congo. Do you get what I'm saying? Look at this, look at how they colonize certain places. Do you understand what I'm saying? They enforced us with religion. Like, you've got all of the facts now, we can go on and see. Do you get what I'm saying? And they'll still be saying, oh no, they'll just quote some random thing, and you're just thinking, rah, no, lights are on, no one's home. It's that vibe. So we're seeing, and that's why a lot of people are speaking about spiritual psychosis, but they'll laugh and joke about it, but they won't laugh and joke when, you know, they see laws getting changed. Do you get what I'm saying? When they can't do that on the street. Do you get what I'm saying? Where they're having to do mandatory reporting, where their leaders are being held accountable. Like, I put up some content of an MP who's an ex-Jehovah's Witness. Do you get it? And he is passing a bill so that SA is going to stop in these environments mandatory reporting, accountability to leaders, because the bill was getting passed, and he said, nah, we need to amend this up in the cut. You know why? Because it can't just be pastors, people with religious titles. It has to be leaders, because those leaders, we all know, they're the ones that have the real access to the people. And when stuff happens, it's like, oh no, they were just a member in the church. They're not a pastor. They're not someone on the payroll. They're not this, they're not that. And it's like, wait a second, this man's been serving for 10 years. Oh, I think my ex-husband's there. Can he, 1 second, guys. Have they come? The kids, I'm on live, 1 minute. 1 second, guys. Girls, your daddy's there. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys, the ex-husband's at the door. we co-parent really fluidly, so he just comes around and he brings, I think he's bringing ice lollies and a fan and some other bits for the girls. So you see how they've got my name in their mouth, babe. Like, has your husband even done that? Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not even together no more, Chair. He can come and bring his kids. That's because I'm saying my kids ain't suffering, Chair, because of this cult. Do you know what I mean? Like, over my unalive body, babe. Anyway, let's get back into it, guys. We don't want to drift too far off. Thanks for liking up the live. Thanks for protecting the space. How cults exploit it. Cult leaders often use techniques like isolation, intense indoctrination, and manipulation to create situations where members are forced to reconcile conflicting information with their loyalty to the group, often leading them to further embrace the cult's belief. So do you know what it comes down to? It doesn't come down to the facts. It doesn't come down to the facts that are presented in front of their face. Like this is like it's like your pastor has done this to women in the church cult. Like, it's gone to court, he's got tried, and now he's inside. You, even when that happened with V to V, yeah, victory to victory with their pastor Douglas, those women were outside from the congregation, outside of the court, and crying because my man got sentenced for what he done. So this is the cognitive dissonance, guys. Do you understand what I'm saying? We see it in their behavior. Even when we're saying to them, listen, it's not because I'm speaking out. It's not because people are speaking out now about their experiences of you know, like trauma in these spaces. That's not what it's actually about. It's actually about your behavior. Like, you come in and you say, oh, Jesus loves you. You say this, that, and the third. But your character, your behavior is not demonstrating kindness and love and fruits of the spirit, which Christ personified. We don't see that. Like, I'm not feeling light from you. Like, I'm not feeling a good energy and vibe. And I'm not just going to kick it with you and let you in my energy and let you in my zone because you and I both say that we believe in the same thing, like that. And that is what makes people vulnerable, and they're not spiritually protected, because a big spiritual practice of mine is protecting my blood clot energy. That's on period, point blank. Even down to the phone. Like, before, I used to be rushing in to speak to survivors. Now I put up my boundaries. No, that's not the way things work. Can you please tell me what this is about? Because it's not even everybody that should have access to my energy through phone call. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because, guys, it's all different dimensions of this sphere that we live in. Right now, we're in another dimension because we're in the virtual world that is all connecting us to be here. But energetically, we're all connected. And that's what this time, this revolutionary time, because we're in the future now. All of those films that we used to watch, like Back to the Future, this and that, the conspiracy of aliens, the conspiracy of this, that, and the third. Guys, it's happening. We're seeing it now. We're living in these times. Soon cars will be flying. You know, some of us will live to see these things materializing. All right, we're in an advanced world, okay, and old systems and structures are falling apart. Yeah, on period, point blank, queen. And that includes these ones that we're talking about, okay? Because they're no different from Hollywood. They're no different from, you know, these systems of control and social constructs that they've used to segregate and put us in different class systems and, you know, create all these beauty standards. Because there's beauty standards in the CC as well. That's the modesty and purity culture. That's the, if you're, you know, you're covered from head to toe, you're a sister. And we all know how they get there. All right, let's keep it focused. Exploring the inner conflict caused and contradictory beliefs within the group. So again, for me, just things like kindness, like they just don't have like the basic respect for just your fellow human being. So for example, you could have done something that they see as wrong in their eyes and they just remove you off group chats and stop speaking to you and give you silent treatment, yeah, to the point where you feel like you have to be walking on eggshells now, and they're gaslighting you and telling you you are doing A, B, C, and D, and in your heart and mind you're not even doing it. But because the pastor's wife, they're in such an unhappy marriage, she's walking on eggshells and projecting her unhappiness and insecurity and feeling of being discarded in the cult. But it's subconscious, it's deep within her psyche, but it will come out in tough love. The Lord rebuketh whom he chasteneth whom he loves, because that's the way her leader was to her, and she sees that as love. So that is the transference and projection on you, because she thinks she's doing that out of love. Yeah, and that's the gaslighting, babe. That's the gaslighting. That's what makes you feel like you're going off. It's the gaslighting, because, you know, it's as clear as day what it is. It's like, babe, you have never done a university degree. You have never worked a job a day in your life. Like, you've been on benefits the whole time. Like, now you're telling, you want to advise me on coming, whether I should go to, why is such loud? I'm on live. Ooh, yes, please. Careful, don't get in, go a bit back, because I'm, yeah. Have you got anything else for me? Is there water as well? Is it cold? Put a couple in the fridge. Thank you. Oh, it's lovely. Haribo on it. Oh, there's Haribo's at the bottom. All right, let me show everybody. Look, this is what my ex-husband got for me and the kids. Thank you. Close the door. Thank you, my lovely. So yummy. Single married wife. Do your fellas think about you and get you a little ice lolly on a hot summer's day? Let me know. I'm waiting. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into deconstructing the teachings. Oh, Sarah, I didn't see you there, Queen. Hi, babe. Look, pun read me. YouTube, if I even move the phone, that's it, we're done out. So what I'm going to say right now is, you know, Missy, if you're on Leia, Denny, if you're on Leia, whoever's on YouTube, because there is people on it, Leia. All right, let's get into the deconstructing the teachings. Let's play a little game. I want everybody to think of one harmful belief they were taught, and just quickly like break it down. Where did it come from, and what purpose did it solve or did it serve in controlling you? So you can see that in it. Can everybody see it? TikTok, can you see it? On Sundays, I think I'm going to do more of these deconstructing sessions for us. So the people who really want to deconstruct. Oh, look at the Queen. Alita, where you there? Thank you. Look at Haynes. Look, Panna. Pun the Queen, them. All right, guys. Should I move on? Oh my gosh, this lolly is gorgeous. You lot, it tastes like Haribo ice cream. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. And then you got the sweets at the end. All right, let's move on. All right, I don't know if I'm gonna go through the Gibbs reflective model too tough, because this is more if I was delivering it. Maybe I'll go, I think I'll talk about this at the end, so that when we all go off, we can use this model to reflect. All right. So feelings are wrong. Woo! That is a very, very good point. Guys, I'm actually unalive of hay fever right now. This is going to sound so ghetto on YouTube. Oh my gosh. No, you lot, the hay fever's bad. All right, so I wanted to just think about some... Oh, thanks, girl, for the follow. I wanted to think about some of the most you-know-what verses, yeah? And basically, I would have asked you before in the activity, but let's look at them. So these are some of the most harmful verses that I feel that they use to abuse us. Yeah, girl, my throat is just, it's a lot. Now we've got John 3:16. I'm not going to read that out. We all know what that is. For God so loved the world. Then there's this other one, which is Malachi 3:8. Will a man rob God? Yeah, you have robbed me. By you say, in what way have we robbed you? You have robbed us in tithes and offerings. Yeah. That's a big one. And that one is the main one that they'll use to just teeth your money, boy, to be getting you to commit into tithing. Even, you know, people on benefits are even tithing in there, boy. The government don't even class it as income, but they'll be getting you to tithe. We've got that survivor that got her backdated money on PIP, and she's got like, her mental health is severe. And she was supposed to do her flooring. Oh, thanks, Queen. Hey, Miss CHM, she was supposed to do her flooring, but she had to tithe £500 to the cult because her leader told her that she had to do it. Yeah. Like, it got to a point when I was married where my ex-husband was like, you can't be doing up this tithe thing every month. Like, you know, we've got a youth now. Like, we need to start, like, you know, building our future. And that's why they don't like you to marry outside. Because they need the husband to be, like, severely indoctrinated. Like, they need both of you to be really indoctrinating. So that he doesn't think. Because there's a way that things are done in the cult. Like, if you have to eat rice every day, you'll eat rice every day. And the woman has to be a Proverbs 31 woman and make nothing into something. And then she'll be praying to God and she'll feel like that they're being faithful and they're sacrificing for God. And then when they have their branches 10 years down the line, they'll be telling these stories to the people in the cult. And they'll be clapping and saying, praise God. All right. Matthew 6:19-20, chair. Do not store up your... Ooh! This is the same scripture that King Leopold of Belgium told his reverends and missionaries when they were taking over the Congo. He told them to preach to them, do not store up yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourself treasures in heaven where neither moth nor rust destroys and where thieves do not break in and steal. So do you see, this is the cognitive dissonance. They're telling us to store our treasures in heaven whilst they're building their empires here on earth. As I said to you, buildings are buildings. If a you know what broke out tomorrow, all of these buildings that they've built and they've created, are they going to stand? They told you to spend. They told me to spend my disability money on tithe. That's absolutely disgusting. Guys, I don't know. Let me just see if I can find my hay fever tablets, because this is wild. And guys, do you know what the thing is? Oh my God, their hair. Praise God. Praise God. All right, you lot will start kicking in soon. You might hear me itching my throat. Miss CHM, I'm so sorry. That's what they do. Do you know what? They love to exploit the most vulnerable. That's what they do, babe. Do you know what I mean? And then you'll see them with their kids with their £1,000 luggage. Do you get what I'm saying, girl? Yeah, because a survivor told me that they saw Yavela, you know, Bishop Richard's daughter, at the airport, and she's had the luggage, both of them. It's like £1,000 each, like really expensive luxury brand. You get it? So basically, the emphasis with Matthew 6:19 is basically for people's heads to be in the clouds. So that's where it's like lights are on, but no one's home, because they'll just give their last £100 and you'll be like, oh my gosh, like, how are you going to feed your kids for the rest of the month? Because these women, a lot of them are like single moms, low income, or they get a lot of these gal them that are single moms, but they're entrepreneurs. It's the entrepreneurs. They're the ones who get recruited. Because, you know, entrepreneurs, they're not really academic. They're more like, you know, like entrepreneurs, they're more savvy. They're hustlers. They're making money. Like an entrepreneur, they'll never be broke, chair. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that an entrepreneur is any better than an academic, because actually I'm more of an academic. So I do rate the entrepreneurs. Like, I got a lot of friends who are like that. And I put a lot of respect on it. But I've noticed with them type of gal them, especially when they're into their beauty, they're into their more of their aesthetics, it's all of them type of gal there that you'll find in these spaces. That's why I do everything myself now, because I don't trust them with my eyeballs. I don't trust them with my crown upon my head. You get me? I don't trust them with my fingers. Like, I'm not on it, innit? No, you lot, when I tell you the way I'm feeling, like, this weather's mad. I want it to just end. I feel like I'm in a horror movie. All right, let's move on to the next one. Must know harmful verses. So guys, there's going to be more. And if you've got more, put it in the chat. And I've got a Bible right here so I can read it out. But these are just the ones on the day when I was doing this presentation. It's what came to my mind. And then this one, Matthew 22:9, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways, the byways, and compel them that they might come in, so that my house might be filled. And this is like the main scripture that my cult leader uses for anakazo. And that's the whole idea. The word compel in that scripture is the Greek word. Is it Greek? Yeah, the Greek word anakazo, which means to compel. And then he's got anadeia biazo, which means to be forceful, like to not take no for an answer. I'm telling you, it's way too hot. It's too hot, in it, girl. I've just taken these ones are prescribed, so this is gonna kick in soon. And then the other way they use this as well is when they're coercing people and forcing people to go on the outreach. So this is part of the transcendent belief system. In a lot of these cults, yeah, they'll quote John 3:16 and 22:9, and they'll all know Malachi 3:8, because these are the main doctrines. These are the main verses used for the doctrines to basically coerce people, so that because they're thieves. So that's why I will know that most of these verses will be, because guys, you know what I'm on breaking down the financial systems, because they're thieves. And when people open their eyes to see that all it's about is money, let's see how, if they're offering the same services and doing up the same thing, or does the preaching start to turn into loyalty and God needs money to build his that you see. Because what they're saying, it's not based off the Holy Spirit, you know, convicting them. It's based off I was earning £150,000 a month. Now I'm earning £100,000 a month. That's a 50k reduction. That's what they notice. And these people, them, yeah, they understand money and they understand people like souls. That's their currency in the mega church. That's their currency. That's why, because I'm not being deceptive, I'm not using people as like an energy exchange, a currency. I'm not using people as currency to make money. I had to be stripped of all of that. I had to understand what the true wealth and currency of the flow of the universe is about, so that I could understand and keep my mental, like my mind during this time. And then I'm like, raw, I'm doing this. There must be loads of people going through the same thing as me. Let me chat about it online and see what I got. Let me see if it resonates with a couple people. That's why I'm saying, guys, you don't need to agree with everything I'm saying. Energetically, we all vibe. That's why I try to keep religion out of the picture, because as soon as that comes, but I can't, because every time I'm exposing up something, it will strike a chord. But fundamentally, what we need to realize is that we're all survivors, and this depth of healing that we need to do up here, we are the collective that no one else understands it in this way. As a collective, we understand it resonates. And guys, the truth is, people just ain't honest, and a lot of people haven't even began to heal or began to deconstruct. That's why I said to you, all of these life coaches, all of that, it's all a scam. They're no better than the mogs. And what you'll find is a lot of the mogs are the life coaches, because mogs and these CCs, these church cults, they've turned into like motivational seminars. So it's no different. You've got to go within, you've got to find the knowledge yourself. And the way that knowledge is now, it's not just like a library where you go in there and you have to read the books. It's an online library. You've got content creators who are like walking laptops, and they're out here like spitting knowledge, man, breaking it down in a way that is so palatable and so easy to digest, because they're so passionate about knowledge. And I really feel like TikTok is a vehicle, and like Instagram and YouTube as well, but TikTok's a little bit more interactive for people like intellects, like people who love, you know, knowledge and sacred teachings and just love everything about everything, can come on and share. And so apps like this are a threat. That's why you'll notice with First Love, whenever they say share the live, share the link, it will always be YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And people even watch Twitter, X or whatever it is, but they will never mention TikTok. And TikTok is like it's the best app to get information out there, to reach people if you want to share. So you'll notice things like that. But the greedy ones who want to grow at a certain pace, like RPF, they'll be on Monday to Friday because they haven't got that wisdom. All right, Matthew 10:22. And a lot of these newer ministries, they've been built off the internet, like apps like TikTok, so they can't come off it, because that's where a lot of their revenue comes from as well. All right, Matthew 10:22. You will be HATE'd by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved. So this enforces the us versus them rhetoric. This enforces the isolation rhetoric. This enforces information control. This is a verse that they'll use, like, for example, you see like how we've seen them all out in the streets, hurling ABUSE, starting conflict, you know, shouting in people's face, having no regard for the decency of the common public, children that are around, nothing, homeless people sleeping on the ground, they don't care. But what they'll say when people are coming up to them and saying, can you turn down the speaker, can you turn down the mic, can you move a bit away, like, why do you have to be out here like that? They'll say that, they'll refer to Matthew 10:22, yeah, because the most RADICAL spaces and most of the CCs, these are the cults disguised as religious organizations, they will bang out this one. And I don't know why I haven't got God will build his church and the gates of hell shall not prevail against them. But remember, I did this presentation in about 10 minutes, yeah. So these are just whatever came to my head, baby. But the gates of hell shall not prevail. Does anybody know where that scripture is? Because I'd love to just, you know, turn to it right now and read it out, yeah. Because I've got an array of Bibles here, many different versions. Oh! But my 18 years of being in one of these spaces, it doesn't mean anything. I'm sure you guys have got a more expansive I'm sure you've got a more expansive library than mine. Yes, King. I'm doing it on this one because I'm not even on here. It's just straight up. You know, they can't get me off. This is what came to my head today. So I'm just gonna deliver cult psycho ed on here. Thank you, King. All of the usual mods, I'll make mods after when I come back on later to deliver part 2 because I can't move it. You know, I'm doing up ghetto talk. Then we've got Luke 4:26, which is, if any man come to me and have not, and hate not his father, mother, and wife, and children, and brethren, and sisters, yea, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. So, Matthew 6:18. Thank you, Queen. So do you see how those two scriptures together, the Matthew 10:22, the Luke 4:26, this is where they get people, this is what they justify. This is how they justify people cutting off their family, cutting off their blood sister, because them and their sister could have come. But remember, blood ties, family, that's a threat, because they need to have full control. So when you come in with a childhood friend, a sister, a family member, whatever, they will be preaching these doctrines to get into your psyche subconsciously. So when your sister leaves, it's like you're bound by blood, so you have to speak to her, but you're indoctrinated to see her as the enemy. You're indoctrinated to see her as Luke 4:26. This is scripture. So do you see how these RADICAL doctrines are able to perpetuate it into our society in plain daylight? Because they are using a transcendent belief system, which they are twisting ever so subtly to endorse these very extreme ideologies. Okay, Matthew 16:18. I think I quoted it right there. Oh no, that one's, oh, this is another one you're saying, girl. Now I say to you that you are Peter, and upon this rock I will build. Oh yeah, here it is, church, and all the powers of hell shall not conquer it, and I will give you the keys of the kingdom. Okay, so it is still the same one, but this is a different version. This is amplified. The gates of hell shall not prevail against it. That's all we need to know, chair. That's what you'll hear them saying. And guys, start seeing it more. Like pay attention, be more present. Like watch it, like see the Matthew 10:22. You know when they're doing it up online and they're like, they're saying this, be like, oh, okay, the good old Matt 10:22. You get what I'm saying? Like that's what it's giving, baby. Like tell us something new, innit? Let's get into the apocrypha. All right. And this is an eco map that I developed in basically saying that all of these harmful, hateful scriptures that they perpetuate and indoctrinate family people in the cult with. Let me see if I can get a pen. What we see is that it starts here with the family connection. Now here, if you look on the side, this is the mapping typology that I'm using to describe what happens when they take on this harmful indoctrination. So the squiggly lines are the weak connection, strong connection is the thick line. We've got the strained connection with the arrows and the moderate connection, but in this case we're just going to look at strong and weak connection because it's black and white thinking, us versus them. So you've got, this is the family. As they're getting indoctrinated, do you see that it becomes a weak connection with RJ? That's the target. They've targeted the vulnerable, young, isolated person, yeah? You see that the connection becomes stronger through the false doctrine and the lies, all of those ideological concepts, and it just becomes the cult leader. Then we've got here, the cult leader begins to be a mediator between RJ and man, God and man. So the connection becomes weaker to God and it becomes filtered down because of the false doctrine, because it's only God that knows the mind and the heart of man. They can come to us and, you know, present it as a sheep, but really they're a wolf. They can say, Lord, Lord, but God will say, I don't know you. So we're in a time, it is an end time because it's the end of religion. How about that? Then all of the outside influences, they don't understand the word, y'all. Christ spoke in parables, yeah. They've been saying for thousands of years, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. We still haven't seen it, babes. So let's just agree to disagree and let's focus on the right now, because young people are getting RADICAL'd. They're online looking absolutely, I don't even have the words for it. Let's talk about what's going on now. Let's talk about the RADIC elation of the black male. Let's talk about the RADIC elation of kids in the ghetto. Let's talk about that. That's what I'm on. All right. So you can see that the connection gets weak with the outside influence. Okay. And that is the us versus them, the outside world. That is what those harmful verses will do. That is what that rhetoric will do. All right. Let's look a little bit at the work of Carl Jung. There is a YouTube video here that I was supposed to post. So this probably is a So after this one, when I'm doing my in-between break, I'll go on here and post a little taster just to show people. Because guys, what I'm gonna do is, if you're not following me on YouTube, please do. My name's Leah Lauder77. Guys, I'm working with basic technology. So the beauty is me, the pizzazz is me. I have just a little HP laptop, as you can see. Anyone who wants to bless me with their apple, anyone who has money that wants to bless the woman of God with a grand, that wants to buy me the laptop, just message me afterwards and we can prepare it. So Carl Jung, projection. The reason why I think it's really important to understand projection, not only for ourselves, thankfully. So basically go on YouTube, Leah Lauder77. I've got playlists. I'm going to create a deconstruction, or maybe I might call it the unconscious mind playlist. Yeah. For people. And the reason I'm going to call it the unconscious mind, because this doesn't involve religion. It doesn't involve, it's really for people who are seekers of knowledge, you know, to be able to, you know, process the information. If you know you're not on that and you're religious, just don't even go into that playlist, all right? Because everything's going to be demonic to you, you know, them ones. And it's just neuroscience and psychology. So Carl Jung, he talks a lot about projection, and I think this is the term that he came up with. So in Jungian psychology, projection refers to the unconscious act of attributing one's own thoughts, feelings, or behaviors to another person. So essentially, it's seeing aspects of oneself reflected in others, often negative traits that are repressed in the unconscious mind, which Carl Jung believed is a common defense mechanism where people project their shadows onto others to avoid confronting those aspects within themselves. So I've got an example. Say like a dad now, he's got 3 kids, he's in his car, he's just bought a new car, let's say it's a Ford. And he goes to the kids, oh, do you like the car? And then they say, oh, yeah, it's all right, Dad. But you know what? I prefer the Mercedes that you had before. But it's like he's had to downgrade because something's happened. He's like, what do you mean? This is still a good car. He started snapping at the kids, shouting at them, being in a... That's a projection because he's broke. He can't afford to get... And it's not about... We don't really care about that. But you know, in the world, that's how it's seen. So now he's feeling upset about his Mercedes. He's feeling like he can't provide for his kids. He's feeling lesser than a man. It's stroke his ego. That's the shadow. The shadow part of himself is he's projected because he can't make enough money, or he's going through, you know, a financial difficulty. So addressing the shadows would be able to look in yourself and say, you know what, I'm not providing what I should. So I've projected that, and I've, you know, directed my anger onto my children. So now, and do you see, this is why we're raising, it's a rebirthed generation, because the millennials and the ones that have come before us, we're starting to learn about trauma in our spare time. Like with television, it's TV program, it's programming. They were programming, they were giving us the news as they saw it from their lens, you know, shows from their lens, selling us adverts, like things to sell on advertise. You know, like now we've got apps like TikTok, which are really autonomous, really, you know, critical thinking friendly. And we're just constantly getting information. And I get people's argument, oh, you're on the internet all the time, but is the internet stopping us from deleting ourselves? Is AI stopping people from feeling like that, like curing loneliness? Is it now? Is it? I think I hear crickets. Because if we didn't have apps like TikTok, the world would have gone bonkers. That's now they're trying to like put like stringent measures on it, information control, unconscious process, because they got to try and, you know, incorporate certain things out there, because then it's not that we'll never, because we do evolve. Like nature evolves, the tree evolves, you know, there's evolution in everything. We're ever evolving. I like how the earth, because remember, we've got the 3D physically, but then there's other dimensions of this earth. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's an evolution happening right now. And those that can hear hair in it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get too much into it because I don't want to go so off the presentation. But for those that are interested, look at Schumann resonance. Schumann resonance. Unconscious process. Projection happens without conscious awareness, meaning people don't often realize that they're doing it. So do you see why I say that shadow work is a spiritual practice that can protect yourself, because it can stop you from going out there, you know, having a road rage attack and just smashing someone's you know what and getting arrested, because you understand you've had a bad day, you've received bad news, you've got some parking tickets that you didn't expect, now you ain't got no money to the end of the month, and now you're already peed off, you need to be able to reflect in action. And we'll go back to Gibbs' reflective model so we can break down and decompress like what that looks like and what it means for us to be able to reflect in action, out of action, on action, etc. Yeah, I'm a bit rusty with the reflective models, but I'll try my best. Then we've got shadow integration, and Young emphasizes the importance of integrating one shadow, unacknowledged negative aspects to avoid projecting them onto each other. So when you've hear me say things like yin and yang, and then that could be backed up with an unjust balance is an abomination to God. Again, that is a universal truth which I have seen in many religions. I have seen in many sacred texts. I have seen in psychology. I have seen in science. For me, a truth will stand when I can see it in many different spheres of life and sciences. And then also it's kind of stood that test of time. Do you know what I mean? Like the pyramids. I rest my case. So that shadow work, they'll say it's demonic, they'll say it because they don't want you to come back to self. They want you everything to be external. They want you to be, dependent on the pastor and go running, you know what I'm saying, to the institution. They want you to sit down and reflect and say, do you know what, every day I need at least, 1 to 3 minutes of just reflection, to just really process like what's going on, and then be able, because since I've been doing that, I now have serenity. Like part of my spiritual practice is that I can't change anything. I can't change what's going to happen tomorrow. I can't change what's happened. So I need to be in the present. And when things happen, because that's when you know that you're like becoming like mentally, whatever resonates, spiritually powerful, because life is a roller coaster and those things are going to happen anyway. But it's how you handle the storm. It's how do you get what I'm saying? Your mental health, like mind over matter. It's that type of ish. Because that scripture that says, a man who controls his spirit is more mighty than a city. I'll never forget that scripture, and this is where I'm at now, because I don't like being taken for idiot, innit? Like especially with this cult, I feel like I was used as a doormat for a long time. So I've got a lot of suppressed anger in me, but I'm aware of it. It's present. But again, it's about knowing that anger's there, but it's about me channeling it, because I do need that anger to guard myself so people know I'm not an idiot. But at the same time, I need to be able to channel it and understand what's causing it, so I'm not projecting it onto others. Does that make sense? So they'll tell me I'm evil and I'm wicked, but babe, I'm learning how to even control you. It's y'all that can't control yourself. That's why everyone's running away from you instead of towards you. How are you blaming me for your actions? Especially those ones with, like them mogs that are just, like Toby Adebayegan. It's like, you get me? That's why you're noticing all of the lead mogs, yeah, they're trying to they're still present, but they're getting other people to do stuff and that now, because they know it's going to be the downfall of the institutions. They think they're smart, but it's not going to save them, because there's no individuality. No one's got their own mind. No one's got, it's just nuts, man. Anyway, let's look at the tip of the iceberg. So if we look at projection like this, yeah, this is all of the trauma, this is all of the stuff that we're carrying, been known to us. This is all in the subconscious. And I use this for my gang's presentation. I'm really, really proud of this iceberg model thing that I do. YouTube, I've moved it ever so slightly, sorry. Does it still look all right? So this is all the trauma, all the stuff that happens underneath. And then we just see the tip of the iceberg. So that's like the projection. That's like the action. Do you know what I mean? The outlash, do you get what I'm saying? Putting hands on someone, doing whatever. And it's all of the trauma. It's all of this stuff that we don't see. And that's what we need to work on. Like that's what the therapy is about. That's what the meditation's about. And that's what prayer should be about. Because when you're requesting prayer unto God, what are you requesting? Because they'll say to you that, I can't remember the scripture, but it's like, God knows what we're going to ask before we even ask it. So a lot of the time they manipulate people's energy to do a lot of collective prayer, where they siphon the energy and use people's energy as a battery to build their cult. Because remember, it's the invisible. The real wealth is the spiritual power, but they rinse us for both, energetically, spiritually, and then in monetary. So like the physical currency of this planet, which is paper money. So whenever you lot are thinking about projections, yeah, just remember this iceberg, yeah, because they're coming in, they got some chat for me, baby. I can come and teach y'all how to be less materialistic and survive the times that we're going into, yeah, because God knows where we're going, and that's why he's preparing us in the cut. You get me? And that's on period, point blank. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So this is even, you know, I'm just going to leave you to sit with this for a second, because this is what indoctrination really is about, because they come into our unconscious, into our psyche, and this is, they are knowingly taking over our mind. They are knowingly entrapping us, and that, like, it's against our consent, innit? It's not with our conscious. So that's why you need to be conscious of the unconscious. These are the things that are unseen, but they'll sell it to you like Shabaya Satadaba. Baby, go and learn about the universe, yeah. Because that's what they're stopping you from learning about. That's what they're demonizing. Do you understand? Why are they demonizing it? Why are they demonizing it so much? Why don't they want you to dip into that chair? The mogs know Wagwan. Trust me, because now I'm out of it and I can see it. Guys, I'm telling you, trust me when I say it, chair. All right, what is shadow work? Okay, we're gonna quickly go, because my YouTube, my phone's getting a bit hot, chair. All right, YouTube, let me just get through this bit, a break, because I've been on for nearly an hour and a half, and I'll come back. What is shadow work? Shadow work is at heart about developing self-awareness and ultimately self-acceptance and compassion. That's why you can see people and they have like severe mental health, or like they're going through a lot of things like a chronic illness or a terminal illness, but it's like they're so self-aware. There's so much self-acceptance and compassion, acceptance with, you know, because one thing, a long-term health issue, a chronic health issue, or terminal illness will teach you is acceptance. You'll be forced to understand and embody and personify acceptance, because if you don't, it's like fighting a tide current that's coming against you. Do you get what I'm saying? Because there's that acceptance in, like, I've had to accept, I look great, I look fabulous, I'm beautiful, yeah, but my body, my mental health. So for example, me dating right now would be DUMB of me. So part of my spiritual practice, I'm not saying I'm going to be celibate forever, because I ain't, baby. I'm not being celibate for God. I'm not being celibate because I believe in some purity. I am celibate because I got borderline personality disorder and 2 blood clot kids. You know them ones. I can't be out there, meet some narcissist, some guy who's got some underlying whatever issues. Now I'm letting him come into my portal. He's doing up this, rare. No, babes. And then on top of that, I've got this favorite person thing where it's like I'm going to be obsessing him. And then if something goes down now, or I have to leave him, because you know I'm not an idiot, after however 3 months, because that's when they start to show their ears. And now I'm going to be fighting for my mental health. No thanks. No, I'll pass. So they're out here having a lot of chat for me, but I'm so self-aware of myself that for the sake of myself and my youth, I'm not out here dating, bro. Like, it's not time to do that, innit? It's time for me to stay in my yard, get myself better, figure out what natural herbs and food I need to be eating, because I've got all of these chronic health issues. I need to regulate my nervous system on my backside. It's not about, even though the sun's shining, does it mean that I need to be outside? But let me just tell you though, because Cardi said we outside, I'm still partially outside, yeah, because that's my bee. But let you know, when I'm outside, I'm gonna be spiritually protected and guarded up. That's all you need to know in the car. But anyway, let's stay on track. Also, the shadow work is for those whose shadow is associated with trauma. Woo, yeah. So now this is going into childhood trauma and attachment. And this is why when you start to heal, what your therapist, the medical health professional, whatever will try to work with you through, is the first thing that you need to do when you're doing shadow work, guys, is when you're journaling, is what type of attachment, what type of childhood attachment did you have with your mother and father? Was it a secure attachment? Was it an unsecure attachment? Was it a disorganized attachment? What type of attachment is that? And look at the theories attached to how having that sort of childhood trauma or childhood attachment has led to you being the adult that you are. So for example, if you've had like an unsecure attachment with your dad or whatever, which would include, I think disorganized is NEGLECT, ABUSE, that your dad could have put hands on you, this, that, and the fourth. Is that why you have had, you know, a pattern, a cycle of, you know, dating men who put hands on you? Do you understand? Because that's what you saw daddy doing to mummy from a young age. Social learning. So your psychosocial views have been formed through a man loves a woman when he puts hands on her. And that's on period point blank. So then you may have grown up to do the same to your wife or your partner, or you're coming from whatever. I'm not going to make it gender specific because there's women who put hands on their man too, Jaya. Yeah. So you need to look at how that is associated with the trauma, i.e. the childhood trauma, strip it all back. This type of work helps you work through trauma to embrace the part of yourself that's been suppressed or shamed throughout your life. So again, do you see how in those spaces they'll be calling this demonic, right? But when you, what they do is, it's like ignorance is bliss. Like they're going to call demonic whatever, what they don't understand and what they don't know. And what they need to understand is the things that I'm teaching and that I talk about, it's interwoven in the laws of the universe. So it's not even something that you're taught. This is just truth. So as you're listening to me, there's no way that you can say that this is not an undeniable truth. It is. And that's on period point blank. That's why they HATE your girl. Because I'm not out here like the mogs talking human fecal matter. Like, this is truth, babe. Like, this is knowledge. This is this is truth. Babe, this is my main account. You don't exist. By accepting your shadow self, you can start to see how your thoughts and emotions influence your behavior. So I'm going to read that again. By accepting your shadow self, you can start to see how your thoughts and emotions influence your behavior. Guys, there's even times when I say, if I go outside today, I'm going to end up going jail. I'm going to end up getting arrested and because this vibe that I'm feeling, like more time like that, especially if I got to do the school run, like I'll go and wait in the inside of the institution before I'm in. I do things, I put measures and things in place because I know I'm battling with my mental health and certain shadow parts of myself that are surfacing to the forefront because I've left this cult. And instead of being out there and being a 304 like most of these gal them that are in these institutions, I've decided to stay in my yard and heal and read and get knowledge and build myself up spiritually and walk in my power. It's not an easy decision to make. When you're aware of this, because them gal are still dependent on a man. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's the mog. They're getting the same, like when they feel like they've got no one to talk to, this and that, they can call the mog. They can go to the institute. Do you know what I'm saying? Like when you're doing it on your ones, there's no one monitoring you. There's no one calling you up to see you've prayed. There's no one calling you to check you like you're you're standing on your own 2 feet. You got a relationship with God by yourself on your ones. You think anyone has any chat for me? I'm a bad girl. No one's got no chat for me, not on any side, pretty upon every side. So when you're aware of this, guys, you can take control and empower yourself, live life more deliberately and consciously. You start to show up as your authentic self, and that's where you want to get to, the authentic self. So for example, something small like this, my nails, not doing it because someone gonna see it's ghetto, or someone gonna say, I just said, bun that, man. I'm doing what makes me happy. My nails help my mental health. When I look at my nails, they feel nice. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I look at them and I feel happy, like, yay, yellow nails, flowers and sunshine. You get me? You got to do what you got to do to survive, chair, outside in these streets. If you want purple hair, wear purple hair. Why do you care? Thanks, Queen Elites. Why do you care what someone else will think? This is why we've been unaliving, man, because this is that society, like very like consumerism, celebrity worship, like all of these, it's just the MESS. That's why we're coming back to self. Like it's all getting stripped back now. And it's so clear the people that are woke and the people that aren't. All right. What's this? Oh, the 5 stages of grief. Let me film my YouTube. All right. How you lot feeling? Should I take a break or do you want me to continue with the Kubler-Ross model? Do you want me to go into the 5 stages of grief? Do you want me to expand on the Kubler-Ross model, or do you want me to leave it? Oh, YouTube, you have fallen over. I think that the way that I have propped it up, I fixed it. Voila. All right, you lot. How many slides have I got? All right. Okay, let me do the Kubler-Ross one, because then when I come back, we'll then go into shaping our values and morals. We'll do a bit of work on that. And guys, this is really going to help us to shape. Oh my gosh. All right, let's get it. The Kubler-Ross. Not the language code switching, girl. You know what are you doing, girl? You're cooking it, innit? The Kubler-Ross model. All right, so the reason why I want to talk about the 5 stages of grief is because, guys, is this all making sense? The reason why I want to talk about the 5 stages of grief is mainly because when we leave these CCs, these cult environments, we will go through stages of grief, okay? Because ultimately, not only are we grieving the person that we was. Sorry, I just don't like this Sims girl. I don't know what it is. I just can't vibe with it. We'll go through the loss of self, the old person that we were, because now we're realizing that everything was a lie. And I want to quickly share something. When I left the cult, and I was on YouTube and just, kind of coming to terms with OMG, I'm in a cult type of vibe, yeah. I just needed something to resonate. I just needed someone to understand. And I just felt so alone. I just felt like no one understands what I'm going through. No one understands this crazy, mad, like alternate universe that I'm in. And I remember stumbling across some YouTube videos of these girls that took DNA tests and found out that their dad wasn't really their dad because different DNA come up. And I was like, oh my God, guys, I was just sitting there every day and just watching bare different videos. And because I came out of the cult like years later, this was like popping off in 2010 or whatnot. So there was loads of videos. And I was just watching it because it's like that. They almost tell you that you've got this like spiritual DNA, you're part of, this God's family, you're part of this, family, and you're going to all make it to heaven. And, you're winning the loss for any cause. You got this vision, you're wrapped up there. Like a woman that's in love, like, when a woman's in love, but she's falling in love with like a toxic guy, like a narcissist, like that's what it is. That's why they go from night to day. Like, them 304s who were like outside, now all of a sudden they're wearing long dresses, they're in the yard every day because they got a man, That's how these gal them move, you get me? Because they've never been like wifed or a man to just love them, or so it appeals. All right, let's get into it. So these are the stages of grief that you'll go through. And I'm trying to teach these models and stuff so people can work through the different stages and not like, oh my God, I'm losing it. Like, this is a very normal process of what people go through when they are grieving. So let's get into it. The first one is the denial stage. Denial is typically only a short defense for a person, but can be a state of shock because life has changed in an instant. This emotion is generally replaced with awareness. So again, when we think of grief, we generally think about someone that's unalived, but grief is so much deeper than that. That's why people can unalive from a broken heart. You can have that type of grief. Because when people break up, especially when you have to let a guy go that you've loved, has anyone had to let someone go when they're still in love with them? I did, for yourself, because you choose yourself. Like any girl that's had to do that, big yourself up inside, because you're a real empress. You're not even a queen, you're an empress. You're a consort in the cut, you get me? Having to give up the one you love for self is deep. Yeah, Lucia, that's deep, Jay. So there'll be a grief, like, you're losing your best friend. When a friendship ends, it's like that denial. Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe that she did that to me. Like, I can't believe that happened. You'll go through that. This isn't happening. Is everything okay? I don't need help. It will be like they're shutting you out. And that's why we say, like, with the religious psychosis, it's actually, as I'm looking, there's actually interrelations and correlations, because with the spiritual psychosis, it is like a denial. And that's what we're seeing right now, because it's like the institution is unalive, and it's always going to be around. Don't get me wrong, because it's thousands of years. It's thousands of years of magic. But actually, as the time goes on and people are, coming to awareness, self-awareness, and realizing the truth, and certain things that were demonized are not demonized and become more, like popularized, then people will be in their power, going more internally and understanding the divinity of who we are as we're awakening. So I don't see these institutions thriving. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't. Oh, 1 second, TikTok, I've just got to do this puzzle. I don't see them thriving because I just think we're going to have such an advanced generation with such a high, level of, consciousness that's been raised. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see, what this new generation's going to bring. Do you get what I'm saying? Like my kids. It's exciting to see. But again, do you know what it's about, guys? It's just about supporting your kids and nourishing them to be what they want. Like my little girl, she said to me, she's not sure what she wants to be when she's older. She's not sure what she You know, I'm not going to share too much because it was a bit personal, but my younger one, I was out on a little drive with her the other day, and she comes out of nowhere, "Mummy, I can't wait to get my big house and be married and have my children and tidy my nice house." And it's like my kids are just polar opposites. Like the older one's like very tomboyish. You know what I mean? I don't know if will she even want to get married? Will she want to have kids? The other one's talking about having a beautiful home and very feminine and very. So it's about, you know, just nurturing their individuality, nurturing their authenticity, nurturing who they are psychologically. I couldn't believe my daughter's come back to me the other day. She's in the year 6, and she said to me, I said to her, "Sweetheart, do you have an internal monologue?" And she's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, it's like almost like a voice in your head, like a higher voice. It might give you answers to questions. It might, you know, talk to you about your day or whatever. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I do actually, Mummy." She was like, "You know, my best friend, she was saying that she hears voices." And so again, it's like usually this stuff will be like, "Oh, mental health," but it's like we're able to have more of these, you know, conversations around the unconscious mind and things that were deemed as, do you know what I'm saying? Like mental health or demonic or whatever. We're seeing it through a different lens. So I just thought it was interesting because I thought to myself, right, I weren't talking about these things in year 6. So, you know, the level of human consciousness has raised, and so these things are becoming normalized, and people are talking about it and understanding it and saying, "Oh, okay, maybe this is an internal monologue," or, you know, just seeing it from different ways. And she didn't mean audible voices. It was just like what we were talking about, the internal monologue. So it was kind of confirming what she was saying. So anyway, stage 2 is anger. This stage starts as soon as the person realizes that the denial cannot contribute. It can be very difficult to care for someone in this stage due to emotions like envy and rage. And you know what, I'm not gonna lie, like I think I was at that stage for a very long time. Like I'm still angry, but it's not like this. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not like these bursts, that like I'm able to like manage my emotions now, my cognition and things. And this is why I think the movement's grown more, because I'm just not on here effing and blinding from morning till night. Do you know what I'm saying? Like people are starting to, you know, really understand and take notice of what I'm saying. You know what, TikTok, I'm really trying for you, but it's like it has to be a certain way, and it's just not, it's not cooperating, yeah. So it's like questions that they'll be asking, like, how can this happen to me? This isn't fair. Who did this to me? You know, blaming, da, da, da. And so that's why you see this stage, the anger stage, it's really important that we make sense. Well, I think I'll put this in my book. This might be good, isn't it, guys? To make sense of and understand what happened, make sense of and what this is why you have to make sense of it, process it, deconstruct and break it down. Otherwise, you're just going to be full of anger. That's why they're full of so much anger. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Then we've got bargaining, and again, this is like bargaining with God. It might be, you know, to replace. They might say, "Oh, take me instead," or, you know, and that can usually lead to like psychosis is when they go too deep into that. Then we've got depression, and then if you're not getting through these stages of grief, it turns into complicated grief. I'm not going to go into it because I don't have my notes, but that's basically when because this theorist believes that you have to go through all of these stages of grief and then get to the acceptance stage where you accept that, you know, whatever has taken place, the trauma, whatever, you accept it for what has happened. And it turns into that everything has happened for a reason, looking at the glass half full, half empty. You know, you can't change the past. So this is really important, the acceptance part. This is where the shadow work comes into it. Everything's going to be okay. I can't change the past. Understanding what's in the subconscious and the psyche, the things that are, you know, that have happened that can't change, etc. So I think that this stage, moving from the depression into acceptance, we could bring in, you know, we could bring in Carl Jung's, you know, shadow work and projection theories to help us understand. If you imagine there's a ladder going down here, and it's like, what do I have to do to get through or past all of these stages? When you get to this stage 4 in between, let's call it stage 4.5. Then we can have here be looking at, you know, Carl Jung's work, the shadow work, the projection, because you need to remember, you'll be going through all of these phases and stages, but you can't go to the Bible. You can't go to the Bible because they've used this to ABUSE you. So when you're reading it, it takes you back. You could be reading John 3:16, yeah, and all of a sudden you're outside, you're on the streets of Peckham, you're evangelizing, you start getting a panic attack, you start hyperventilating. You know, it's very real. The psychological impact is very real. All right, guys, I think I'm gonna leave it here. I could have gone on and on and on though. Should I come back? Let me go and have, because I might go for a walk, chair. I'm gonna have a little break, catch up with the kids. But guys, let me tell you something. I managed to clean my yard. It's not how I want it, and I've got to clean every day for the next day, like deep clean, not normal clean, because we clean every day. But I need to deep clean every day for the next week for my house to get back up to where it is, and then I'm gonna start the garden. All right, guys, love you. I'll be back soon. If you're not following me, follow me up, man. Support the ting. I'm a mega church cult survivor. I'm a social justice activist. You get me? I'm just here with my mental health, just trying to get through it. Just, talking out loud. Talking helps. Talking helps. So I'm here just sharing a little bit of knowledge. I think we know most of this, or it's all flying around in our head, but because there's a lot of there's a lot of educated people, there's a lot of smart people. Like, I learned so much from the survivors. But isn't it refreshing, guys, to just come on and just hear these things, because we see they're floating around in our heads. We have access to TikTok. I think everybody now could just use TikTok and just watch the stuff and then go and Google it, innit? Go put a true AI and chat GBT, and everybody's a genius. It's beautiful. And that's what's happening, guys. It's the access to information and knowledge. Don't you get it? That's what the elites have always had over us, like the hidden knowledge and information. But the technology and the scientists and the liberalists and the humanitarian and the philosophers and the psychologists, it's all of these practices and, spheres, like different disciplines, whatever, I don't know how to call it. It's led us to this moment of equilibrium, this age of Aquarius where we find ourselves in, where the flow of technology and information is at the touch of our fingerprints. So these type of religious organizations and, like Celebrity Dom and Hollywood, it's all coming. Do you get what I'm saying? Because now everyone, there's people, I've seen more entertaining people in the comments on TikTok than I have watched on Hollywood films and on the TV. I've seen more people, the comments that I see, I think, nah, people are in the you lot need to go and do stand-up comedy. Like, how are you seeing this? And even the way content creators think, like, their minds are so interesting, and there's such a selection and variety. Like, it's like, do we even need TV again? Can we get TikTok on TV? Like, can we get these apps? Like, can we get that vibe on TV? Because we're not even watching our TV like that again. You get me? It's like, when I was exposing NGRM, one survivor was like, oh, Leah, I feel like cancelling my Netflix subscription. But like, this is better than Netflix. I was busting up. But anyway, guys, let me go. I'm getting excited. But guys, let's give ourselves a round of applause, because this way of doing it on my main account works. Praise the Lord. I'll see you guys in a bit. But if I don't come back, guys, I've got tired. But I will come back on, even if it's for like half an hour. Love you. Love you, Insta. I love you so much. Love you, YouTube. You're my life. I love you so much. Thank you for being here.